Welcome back, y'all. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Unfortunately, our Volunteers lost to Kentucky for the second time this season. The first time, obviously, was a blowout. We played a lot better this time. We had some chances to win. A few things that I'm frustrated with this team for the most part. I think that we played pretty solid. Let's go ahead and pull these stats up here real quick. And y'all also, please do make sure to like and subscribe whenever you come in. I want to get y'all's thoughts on this too. But, man, first and foremost, I'm gonna say that Kentucky, they just whatever they're doing on offense is something that we do not have we have a tough time stopping it. They are able to shoot threes a lot on us, and it's like they make all of them. So they actually shot 50% from three tonight. I think they had a couple of freshmen out there playing that stepped up coming off of the bench. One of them might have been starting. I don't know. I don't remember who was the freshman and who wasn't, but it is tough whenever they're hitting shots. Some of them were playing pretty tight defense, and with the other ones, we were just getting lost. So with all the screens and with all the movement, with them kind of crashing down, down towards the goal, down into the lane, and then dishing it out, with the help defense and stuff, wasn't always perfect. I know that we switched sometimes, and we probably didn't really want to switch. That's a tough situation to be in. I like not switching unless you have the people that you've got a bunch of tall, long guys that can guard, that can go out there and guard guards and can also guard down inside the paint. Tennessee just doesn't have too many players like that. So that is a little bit frustrating, man. But you have to tip your cap to what the Wildcats did tonight. Obviously us playing on the road versus a very, very good team. I wouldn't say that this was necessarily a bad loss. It's a tough one. Obviously, as Tennessee fans, you hate to see this happen. But you know what? It just is what it is at this point. Actually, let me make sure that my audio is right, y'all. Real quick, bear with me. I know we got a little bit of a late start. Okay, all right. So I apologize for that. So either way, man, I hate losing to them. We still have, I think that we could still potentially maybe get a 1 seed if we can, win out. We've got a couple of really tough games coming up versus some very good teams, and the SEC is a gauntlet for everybody. So some of these other teams will end up losing. That could maybe help Tennessee out some. But either way, let's talk about what Tennessee did tonight. First and foremost, I got to talk about my dog Iggy, man. He's out there balling. He's been balling for like the past few weeks or so. I mean, he's just been on fire. It sounds like Coach Barnes told him, hey, look, we got to score off of you. You got to be the one that gets us going. And he didn't shy away from that. That was a major positive for me in this game, was seeing, hey, one of our guys can actually be clutch. It's him and it's ZZ. So Iggy had what is that, 16 points tonight? Okay, so he finished with 16. He actually hit some threes. He might have been the only person to hit threes. Looks like, yes, he was. So he went 3 of 4 from 3. We'll talk about Chaz in just a minute. But ZZ, he always plays well. Had a couple of turnovers actually to start the game off. Just kind of like a careless turnover. So we have to kind of get those things cleaned up. But those are the only two people that can actually attack the basket and can shoot from the outside. Everybody else, it's so hit and miss. And I've been seeing, in a lot of different places that maybe we should change up our starting lineup. Well, if you look at our starting lineup, what you're going to see is one of the guys that's starting, Meshack, and listen, love him to death, but give us some type of offense. He goes scoreless, and he only shot the ball once. Actually, let me see if I can we'll just let this thing ride for now. But, yeah, I mean, he's got to be able to give us something from a scoring perspective. We saw him, going to the basket in some of these games. He looks good doing that, but he just has to play with a little bit more confidence. And if he's not really giving us anything, because if he's not playing pretty much lights out defense, he probably doesn't need to be on the floor. But for me, if he does, come out of that starting lineup and he's coming off of the bench and you have Ganey starting for him, well, what does your bench look like now? You see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have all of your scorers pretty much on the floor at once. And that second group that comes in, really nobody is a consistent scorer. So I think that that's probably why Shaq is starting, and it's probably a good thing to start off with a little bit of defense, just to kind of like set that tone for the game. And hopefully, you're limiting the team from scoring. You're making them frustrated. Then you bring a guy like Ganey off of the bench, and you're hoping that he's going to be on point. He always has at least one careless turnover in every single game. He had another one or maybe two today in a critical freaking moment, but he was also off. Let me see. What did Ganey do? So he was 4 of 12. And these numbers sometimes, y'all, I've noticed, as we're doing it live, I'll come back maybe like tomorrow or something, look at these stats, and it'll end up being off in some of the spots. So might not be 100% correct, but as far as what we're seeing, that actually looks like it's probably right. So Gainey's still shooting. I think he's shooting with a pretty decent level of confidence, but he has to find his shot. And what I did like with Gainey is that when he wasn't hitting his jumpers, he tried to get to the basket some, or at least he got closer to the basket. Now, let's talk about Chaz, because Chaz, man, Chaz, he's doing some good things, I think, on defense. He's going out getting boards for us, which is a great thing. You need that with your guards. If he's off, it's tough for him to score. We saw another one of his layups get blocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got an easy, backdoor cut to the basket, and you get it blocked because you're not putting it down with force. Now, we did also finally see him dunk one in. Like, you got to go to the basket with some oomph, with some dog in you. It's too much, like, trying to be cute and stuff. Like, we can't. It's too late for that, okay? Like, we need people to be dogs. So you got to go in there and dunk. This is the SEC. It's a tough league to play in. They're going to be physical down there. Like, they're not just going to let you lay it up. So he needs to start working on just dunking the basketball as much as possible. I also want to talk about Felix. I could tell that earlier on in this game, we tried to work the post. We tried to get the basketball to him, and he just didn't look as good. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't look as good as he has in previous games. So we need to give him some more opportunities so that he feels comfortable with that. Obviously that's going to be big for us in the tournament. It doesn't too much matter to me if we get that 1 seed. Obviously that would be great, but you could get the 1 seed and lose in that first game. I just want for us to be a team that's clicking on all cylinders come March. That's where we can still get to. That's where we need to be trying to get to. So Felix, I want to see him be a lot more consistent, down in that paint area, but he looks like he is pretty comfortable. He always plays really good defense and things like that. So definitely proud of all those things. Now, who did I miss in the start lineup? I think I got to everybody. Cade Phillips always plays hard for you. Said the same thing every time that we do one of these videos. He didn't score any points. We almost got him on one of those lobs. So that's a good look. D-Stone, man, he comes in and he just makes me nervous. Sometimes he doesn't look like he should be playing on this level. I hate to say it because it seems like he's a really good dude. But, he'll make some good plays for you. He'll get a steal every now and then. But, I mean, he has to work on, like, he tried to punch one in, and he just missed it. So it's some of that, like, goofiness that he needs to try to work out. I don't know how you do that, but it's very, very frustrating. Let's go over, like, the total stats for the team. So we shot about 43% from the field. Dude, almost 17% from three, which is absolutely horrible. 79% from free throw. That's not as good as I would like it, but it's not horrible. As far as the rebounds, we had 33. We had 11 assists. Looks like we had 6 steals and 9 turnovers. Now let's see what we did compared to Kentucky with those numbers. They shot 50% from the field, 50% from three, like we talked about. Almost the exact same percentage from free throw, which is pretty interesting because they started off the game, might have been up until maybe like the final 3 minutes. I think that they might have been at 100%. It was close to that time frame. But as far as the rebounds, they only had 26. So we got more rebounds than they did. Definitely felt like that in this game. Felt like we were, maybe a little bit more dominant from that aspect of the game, but we weren't scoring as consistently in the paint like we needed to. That was one of the big differences. And obviously they're hitting all these threes and we weren't. But again, we still had a chance to win. We're actually, I think that we were leading at one point in this game, but we leave freaking Iggy on the bench for way too long. And as soon as he comes back, he's a little bit cold, and it just kind of felt like that was it. So what else did they do? Looks like they had 5 steals and they had, looks like 8 turnovers. So that's about how everything looks from the stats perspective, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and pull this down. So let me see what everyone's saying in here. I see we've got a couple of people in the chat right here from Unsung. What's going on, Unsung? Thank you for joining us, saying that Kentucky shot it out of their ass tonight. Yeah, they most definitely did. And Dylan Elam is saying that we couldn't get a board to save our lives. So I would say that, I think that we did a good job getting boards. You know what I'm saying? Like what I feel like wasn't very even. And I don't think this is necessarily why we lost the game, but I just felt like there were so many missed foul calls on both sides. But down that home stretch, it's like they just would not give us any foul calls. That was a major problem. We couldn't buy a foul. But just to take it back to the entire team, what I'm looking for moving forward, y'all, from this team is we need to have some people who can consistently get to the basket. Who are those people going to be outside of Igor and outside of ZZ? we need for Meshack, and I'm not really counting on him, but I'm saying he's a guy that at least needs to attack the basket. Gainey definitely needs to do that. Chaz also needs to do that. We're selling for the mid-range stuff way too much. Drive it all the way to the basket, take it up there strong, and you're probably going to end up getting fouled. You're probably going to have to hit the floor, but that's part of the game. We need you to do that more. We're going to need for you to sacrifice just a little bit more so that we can put up the points necessary, because right now the offense, it looks pretty stagnant outside of a couple of people that have been consistent, and everyone else is very, sometimes. Can't have that. That's going to get us beat, pretty quickly once we get to the tournament. So can we find a way to get that worked out? I'm still waiting on that. We've been waiting on that all season long. I'm going to keep on saying this. Probably wasn't the best game to do it tonight, but we got to get Bishop out there some more, man. Like, we need somebody that can be, maybe something that we didn't expect coming into this season, because I kind of feel like the team pretty much are who they are, right? Like we said with Chaz, saw him actually punch one in, take it strong, and that was a foul that wasn't called. Should have been an and one, but either way, we see that he's capable of doing that. He just needs to start doing it more. Some of the stuff, to me, it's about effort. It's about want to. It's about mindset. And I don't mean to, say that obviously our team is still very, very good. I think that we can beat anybody. We can play with anybody. But the things that I'm looking for is what's going to help us in the tournament. Those types of things is what's going to help us, because we're not a pure jump shooting team. And it does feel like that's kind of what the goal was. Hey, we're not going to shoot as many threes, get closer to the basket, but now we got to get a lot more consistently. And I think that we could maybe get into some different offensive sets. It's, we see the same weaving and stuff. It just kind of feels stale. It doesn't feel like guys like Chaz, are getting open as consistently as he probably should. Teams are pretty much taking away his jump shot. I think that Gainey does a pretty good job, but again, man, it's just about finding the players who are going to step up in a critical situation on a consistent basis. We have two of them. I think that we're going to need probably at least two more. You know what I'm saying? If we want to make that deep push. So let me see. What else do we have right here from Unsung, saying that we could really use Carr right now? Man, I've been thinking that almost every single game. I keep on, man, dude, Cam Carr will be perfect right now. Like, he would literally be exactly what this team needs. And it sucks. It is what it is. He's not coming back. So who else can we find that could maybe step up in a similar way? Obviously, they're not going to be as good of a shooter as Cam Carr was. They're not going to have the same type of length. But I feel like Bishop is a guy that could probably get to the basket some. I think that he's built for that. I just haven't seen him try to do it as much. They try to spot him up as a shooter, for me, a little bit too much. Man, let him drive to the basket. Let him get some confidence. And if that happens all of a sudden, then maybe you can start, Gainey in that first lineup. I don't know that would ever happen, but maybe you could do it, because at least now you have somebody else coming off the bench that can sustain some scoring for you. I don't feel like, man, when D-Stone comes in, it's like D-Stone and Shaq. You pretty much don't expect for them to do much of anything. Now, D-Stone will give you a few threes here and there. He can give you about 12, 13 points in a, shocking game. If he could just consistently give us 4 consistently off the bench, that would be huge. If Meshack, like we said, could consistently give us 4 to 5 points, I will feel a lot better about our team's chances, because we are already so thin. We don't have a lot of players. So we need for people to step up. But that's pretty much where I'm at with it. Not a whole lot. Really, it's not a whole lot of crazy things that I need to say. I'm sure that y'all notice the same stuff that I'm noticing. The offense has got to be better. And I also kind of feel like, has our defense taken a little bit of a step back? Because like we said, oh, excuse me, man, I didn't realize I still had your chat up. But it does kind of feel like, look, we played up against some really, really good teams. But in some aspects, it does kind of feel like maybe the defense is taking a slight step back. I think that it could just be because maybe we're getting a little bit tired. That's something else that I'm looking out for. Do we look fresh? To me, Igor and Zizi, they both look pretty fresh. Some of the other players, they look a little bit tired. So I don't know, man. We need to find some daggum juice. We need a spark plug. We need something that would just get the whole team to have confidence scoring, to have confidence playing their game. And I think that once we find that, we will be fine. Let me get to this next chat right here. And actually, let me make this bigger, y'all. For some reason, my screen, everything looks really small tonight. But from I Bleed Orange saying that we just can't beat Kentucky, it's ridiculous. Yeah, well, we're having trouble beating them this season. And for me, or I'm gonna say we had trouble beating them this season because we might see them in the tournament, I guess, but I mean that doesn't really matter to me. I feel like teams aren't really gonna be trying too hard to win in the tournaments because it hasn't really benefited anybody. Now it might be different this season. I don't know, but I just feel like, man, like you want to be able to beat them. Like we let them beat us in Knoxville. We should have been able to come to their home and get that get back, but it just didn't work out like that. But I do think that there's something to it. I think that that they have a style that doesn't match up well with the way that we play. But anyway, y'all, I know that it is late. It's been a very long day for me. As I told y'all before, we do have another channel. It's called Sports Legends, and that will be down in the description below. We would greatly appreciate it if y'all would give us a follow over there on that channel. It's pretty much the same content as this one, but that channel is national. So we're talking about everything, as many things as we could think of. We're talking about it on that channel. So we would love for y'all to join us over there. But that's going to be it from me. We will see y'all tomorrow. Hope that y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's night. The team's going to be fine. Okay. I think that we're still a team that you don't want to see in the tournament. We just got to find the consistent scoring, the consistent offense, and hopefully that's going to come within the next week or so. But either way, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.